Good morning, everyone. I'm doing my John Maxwell, and I'm on to day 4 of this law of victory. So today, John Maxwell is talking about the people's victory follows the leader's breakthrough. So in an ideal world, yes, that is what happens. I'm just going to cover the points again. He's looking at this from a biblical lens, and he looked at 2 Timothy 4, 6-7 and 17. And it's the scripture, I am already being poured out as a drink offering, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. The Lord stood with me and strengthened me, so that the message might be preached fully through me, and that all the Gentiles might hear. So normally what happens is we have to fight the battles on the inside, the things that are upsetting us, the things that are disturbing us. And some of those things may rightly so be, it may be right that they disturb us, but some of it may be that it's things we need to work on in ourselves so that we can become freer to serve and to help where we are. The points that John makes in this, he says, helping others break through for the victory. Understand the breakthrough timing. So what did they do to us in apartheid years, including the church, the police, the state? They hurt us enough that we would have to change, right? If you get hurt enough, if your children are being shot in the streets and you're frightened that, you're going to leave them at home, and you can't leave them at home on their own and go out, because lo and behold, the police might come and take them, or come and take your mother or your father without a warrant for arrest or any justified reason other than that those are the laws of the land, and they can do it if they want to. And they can have you summoned to the police station because you did what authorities at the airport asked you to do. Are you not going to change? Surely you will, unless you don't value your life. Unfortunately for Canada and for the US and some places, people didn't give up. And so because even though they hurt us and hurt us and hurt us, we didn't give up until they had to change. And they had to respect our human rights. And they had to respect that they were dealing with qualified people, healthcare professionals, administrative assistants, executive assistants, because we pushed back. Did it mean that we lost people in the process? Yes, we did. In Zimbabwe, in South Africa, people lost families in the US. So that's the first point. The second one is when they learn enough, they make a breakthrough. So that is true for me in my contact center work. I was not very good at it when I joined. My supervisors have a different opinion. They say I was always very good at it. But I used to get really, really upset at how people talk to me, swearing at me, shouting at me. And some of them, they're just they're just out to save some money for themselves. So they're giving you a hard time. And it took a lot of adjusting for me, but I learned. And also I used to get really irritated because they used to tell me, oh, you don't express empathy. You didn't show any compassion. So what I did, I got my certificate from St. Michael's Hospital and I uploaded it and I put it on my LinkedIn because I just got sick of it. I'm like, what exactly do you want me to do? Tell me what you want me to do, because I am a compassionate person and I'm sick and tired of you telling me that I'm not compassionate and I don't show empathy. And they're like, no, you have to tell the customer, I understand how you feel. I'm sorry this happened to you. And let me see how I can fix it. I'm like, well, I'm fixing it. I'm taking care of it. Why do I have to actually say that to somebody? And they're like, no, you have to do it. It's the Americans, you have to do it. So I had to do it. I mean, for me, coming from Zimbabwe, it was stupid. I didn't see the point of doing it. I didn't see why I had to. If I fix your problem and it's resolved, why do I have to say sorry to you on top of that, tell you I can understand how you feel? Oh, I know it's not fair to you. Like, to me, it was like making me like a child, turning me into a child so that I could tap into their emotion. But I had to do it. Why? Because I wanted my job. So I did it. The other thing I had to do, so when you work in banking, at least when I worked in banking in my high-powered roles as a project coordinator and a consultant and all these things, they tell you jump in. So when we have a meeting, people are talking, you jump in and you speak. Because if you don't jump in when people are speaking, you won't get the opportunity to talk. And so on the calls, the customers, some of them didn't like it. They're like, I'm speaking, let me finish what I'm saying. I was like, okay, sorry, please finish what you're saying. Oh, don't be condescending to me. So like, okay. I just told you not to say anything else. Get me your supervisor. That's how they talk to you. So it was a big adjustment for me. You go from one industry where it's one mindset to a completely different industry where it's a different mindset. But I had to learn and I had to adjust. And the third one is they receive enough that they are able to make a breakthrough. So when people have enough, when they have enough money, when they have enough food, when they're not worried about where's my next paycheck going to come from, where is my next rent going to come from, how am I going to make ends meet, then people can relax and they can be creative and they can make their breakthroughs. For somebody like me, I'm never relaxed because I've never had that opportunity to be relaxed. I've always had short-term work, low-paid jobs, menial jobs. I've always been working and studying at the same time. I always have to be on my toes. I always have to be vigilant. I've always got 20 things going on at the same time because I have to. I don't have a choice. Maybe one day I'll get to that point where I actually can say, oh yes, I have a mortgage again and I have money in my bank account and yes, I am in a position of responsibility, but I don't have that. So it's very different when you don't have enough. You are always on edge. You are always looking for that next opportunity. In North America, they say keep them hungry. That's what they mean. Because you always have to be hustling. You always have to be looking for what's coming next. And with many jobs now going to Africa, there are job shortages here in Canada. So, and every industry has its own standards, its own protocols, its own degrees, its own certificates that you have to get. So it's not as simple as saying, okay, I've got transferable skills and I can take them and go and work somewhere else. But that's what I had to do because I worked in banking, then I worked in healthcare, then I worked in education, then I worked in marketing, I worked in human resources, I worked in back office, I worked in retail, I worked in the call centers. So I had to just, with the knowledge I had with my basic degrees and my masters, I had to adjust. As you work with people in your organization, provide them with learning opportunities, give them resources and encouragement, and pay attention to where they are mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. Then when they're ready, help them to get over that bump, whatever that bump may be, because you'll bring out the best in your teams. The second point he makes is pray for that breakthrough. And that's what we do. We pray, we ask God to help, to intercede. Some breakthroughs come, people never expect those breakthroughs to come. And there are some wars that have been won because myths came up just at the moment where the opposition could have won. If you go to West Point, you'll see that for one of the battles. There are battles in the Catholic tradition where people believe that because people were saying the rosary, those battles were won, because everything was against them and there was no way that they could win. So for those of us who have faith, we do believe in the power of prayer. And we believe in the power of taking action. If you're praying, you're also taking action. You're doing something. And then the third point, become a breakthrough person. People do what people see. So if people see me going on holidays, if they see me making trips to South Africa or Italy or wherever it is, other people will also want to do those things and aspire to those things. And some people will even remember the things that I did for them in childhood or growing up, or how we had Bible study at my house, things that I don't even recall, I don't even remember. But people will remind me and I'll say, oh yeah, yes, we did do that. So people see what they see is what they can also do, what they strive for. And we all have areas that we're growing in. We all have areas that we're vulnerable in. So we can't do it on our own. We need God and we need other people. And we are humble before God. We know that when our teams win, we also win. Because if our teams are failing, then obviously we're going to fail. If it comes down to you letting your best people go and you're not finding positions for them, ultimately your company is going to fail. And I'm not just saying that, that's been proven. It's been proven at Credit Suisse. It's been proven at TD Bank. It's been proven at many, many companies, because the culture you promote will lead to your company either thriving or breaking down. And then transparency. So we live our lives as open books, because today everybody knows everything anyway. There's cameras wherever you go. There's cameras in your buildings. There's cameras on the streets. People know everything anyway. So we live our lives openly, and we know where we are coming up short and where we have to work. We have to work on. We know when to step back and we know when to step up. So for me, I'm in a place where the job search is all consuming. And so I step back from things. I join in things where I can listen to others, where I can feed my creativity, where I can learn from them. And I do things like this for my friends. And I share things, because all of this is also a way for me to give back to others. But I try not to jeopardize other people's activities or what other people are doing. Of course, I always am responsible. If I go to church, I try to arrive early. If I'm reading, I always ask the priest when I'm finished, was the reading okay? Is there anything you wanted me to do differently? And then I work on that. And if there's parishioners that complain about me, or they take the feedback to the people organizing the schedules, and they tell me, I say, okay, thanks for letting me know. The priest didn't tell me that. They didn't say anything to me, but I'll take it on board for next time. And that's what I do, because the parishioners are also important, obviously. If they don't come to the church, then there's no point in me being there. Many of them know me and like me, but everybody is different. I don't criticize others. I don't criticize how they read, when they come in, the timing, because for me, we all there to help the church. And if the church is going to be very hard and very fast on their rules and how they want things done, people walk with their feet. It's happened before in the Catholic Church, and no doubt it will happen again. So I focus on my own life, and I just do whatever I can to improve myself. And then the fourth point is companies or organizations have to find breakthrough leaders. Having a few strong leaders around you who are capable of experiencing breakthroughs can make a huge difference in the lives of your people. When these people are on the team, breakthroughs for the organization are almost inevitable, It's like having a team of breakthrough catalysts working alongside you. So that's what it comes down to. If you want a winning team, you have to have winning people on the team with you. And that's what we have to do. We create the environment to have breakthroughs, and that's how organizations thrive and they grow. If they're not willing to listen, they're not willing to listen. It's like with my TD visa. I had a visa that I closed, and I paid it off, and they said your balance is at 0. So I was like, okay, it's paid off now. Then I went to the bank. I asked them to check it. They said, oh, yeah, it's paid off. It's at 0, but they'll probably calculate the interest on the 95 cents. So you best pay another $1. So I'm like, this is ridiculous. I said, I hope next time I come in to get my statement, you're not going to tell me, oh, there's another $1 that you have to pay. And Visa won't even send you the statement. If you call them and you say to them, can you please send me the statements until it's paid off in the mail, they'll say, no, we're not going to do it for you. You can phone us every month, or you can walk to your bank and go to your financial advisor and ask him to do it for you. And this is a worldwide organization. So to me, that's not good customer service. I gave them my feedback, but they probably don't care because they're making billions of dollars. So what do they care? But that's how it goes until the cookie crumbles and then the organization falls. You have to care about us as much as we care about being responsible people. And so that's the final point for this chapter. When we have leading organizations filled with breakthrough people, then victory becomes inevitable. And the question for reflection is, are your people winning or losing? So we, in our families as well, we do believe in the power of prayer as Christians. And this is another book that I was reading, Slaying the Dragons. And it's basically talking about the power of blessing others. Parents can bless their children by giving them a blessing over the hands or blessing them on their foreheads. And just the importance of remembering that we are created equal, men and women. We're not taken from the head of the man. We're not taken from anywhere but the side. So we are equal, and that's one of the great challenges in our church, because many of the sisters and many of the religious are very unhappy with how it's so male-dominated, and our voices get isolated, our voices get alienated, because women were present at the Last Supper and at the institution of the Eucharist. And maybe they are not named specifically, but we do know that women were there. And we also know that Mother Mary was there when the good news came of the resurrection. And Jesus appeared to a woman first for his resurrection. And the women were sent to give the good news. So that's something that, it's a point, for many women it's very painful. And it's something that is very hard in our church for many women to deal with, that men are telling us how to live our lives, what to put in our bodies, but they can do whatever they want. So anyway, and that freedom in the church, it's something that was very much present in the 80s and in the 90s, and now again it seems to be a battle that's coming up. And I feel for the older sisters, because they put in the work. They were the ones that brought in the changes, and now they can see how things are going backwards. So it's, I mean, I don't know what the solution is, but it's very disheartening. And also, like, people think that Pope Francis is saying that we are brothers and sisters and all religions will lead us to heaven. But that's never been the teaching of our church. The Vatican II teaches us that there are elements of truth in every other religion, but for us, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. So when he speaks of a brotherhood, yes, there's a brotherhood, but don't be fooled. That is not what the Pope is saying. And that is not the teaching of our church. The other thing that you can do if there are strongholds or things that are coming against a person or a family, you can do binding prayers. Those are in the Christian tradition. And also there are priests who say to be careful, like the Harry Potter books. There are demons that are mentioned in those books, and they are demons that priests have exorcised from people. So they just caution parents to be careful if you're having the children read the books and watch the movies, not to make sure they don't use those names or call upon those spirits, because they are real. And that's mentioned here in this book. And also the power of exorcism. So like in Saint Benedict was a layperson, but he performed exorcisms. And we can pray in the name of Jesus, and through the power of Jesus, we can ask for changes. But there are also things that sometimes only seem effective when the priests do them because of their hierarchy. And he gives the examples in this about how when lay people have tried to perform exorcisms, the demons will laugh at them. And they'll say, by whose authority? Because they're not priests in the church. So there's just cautions in this book. I like reading for my own knowledge and passing it on. But if you want to get it, it's by Charles D. Fraune, Fraune, and it's called Slaying Dragons. So, and the Aboriginal people, the indigenous people, also believe in shapeshifters and that people can change between animals and people, just like in that movie of St. Patrick, where they're chasing him and they look for them and they see deers there. So there are things like that, they are in the church and people don't talk about them, but we do believe in the visible and the invisible. And so that's why I like to read. I do my binding prayers, and I pray every day. I talk to God. So that's what I do. And if you want, you can join in and you can do those things too. So that was what I wanted to share today on my what I've been doing, what I've been reading, and that's the next chapter. And if I can help, if I can do workshops or find a way to help an organization and to earn money from it, do let me know, because I am still unemployed and I am still looking for opportunities as a John Maxwell speaker, and also to use my skills. I do apply and I get all the rejections, so I'm looking forward to the day where I get that job and that call back to say, yes, there's a position and they've selected you. And I am still keeping in touch with my recruitment agencies.